Let me get your thoughts quickly on Michigan.
Yeah, I thought that was a great showing. I thought McNamara played well. I think that was the rhythm and the ability to put up points that you were looking for. I understand it was Western, right? Western Michigan.
Yep.
But at the same time, we talk about, you heard Mac Brown say we got guys playing glorified scrimmages heading into week one, yada, yada, yada. But, I think for a Michigan team, that's something that they needed, especially with all the preseason doubts and Jim Harbaugh being on the hot seat and, going into the year, whatever it is, it feels like forever, and not really ever being able to get over that hump and not having beaten Ohio State. And so I think really for them, it's good momentum early. I think they showed some things. And I think defensively, they have the athletes, they have the guys that can play with anybody. So it'll be cool to see how they progress. But like I said, lesser opponent, kind of what you expected in terms of what their ceiling and capabilities were, and they proved it. You know what I mean? So I think moving forward, that'll be a team to watch to see if they can continue to ride that and continue to crescendo into the meat of that Big Ten East schedule when they do have to play the Penn States and Ohio States and really have an opportunity to make a statement.
I love that word, crescendo. They've got a true opportunity here to kind of build into what they want to be mid-season and what they want to be late in the season. And McNamara was very efficient. I don't think he's necessarily a guy that's going to do a ton of, and I've used this phrase a lot, but just kind of how I look at quarterbacks from a defensive standpoint, but can the guy create on his own? And I think he's got a little bit of that, but not a lot of that.
Tell you what, that JJ McCarthy kid.
Yeah, he's going to be, that's the create on your own guy. It absolutely was. And he did everything you're not supposed to do. He's, holding on to the ball. He's rolling out. He's throwing it back across his body all the way across the field, late as hell. Yeah. Like everything you're not supposed to do. And
he's got some fart in him, dude.
Yeah,
he's got some fart in him.
This will be interesting.
And that's cool for a guy too, and Harbaugh, who loves. He's had guys, the Lux, but they still play and execute within the system.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah.
If they can do what they're supposed, if they can do. And play to their capability, it'll be interesting to see where that goes.
So let's talk about this, because I think one of the things when you're a coach and in that game, you have to play the backups. But one of the things when your backup quarterback is that guy that you do is you create issues, because you let fans see him do something like that. And people know that he's probably the superior creator of offense than McNamara, but he's young and you still want to develop him. So you don't want him in the game. And so every time you give people a taste of that, you're creating that buzz that you want that guy to be in the game. And I'm a fan of McNamara because I think he's going to do the things you need. He's not going to turn the ball over. He's going to make smart decisions, the whole deal. But I'm with you, man. I saw that and I was doing the same thing. I was sitting back like, damn, this kid is going to be in a year.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You can't tease the media and you can't tease fans like that, because you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. And that's kind of the nature of what college sports have become now from an entertainment business standpoint.
That's it.
But I'm going to say it, pump the brakes. I think McNamara is the guy right now. I think he's the right guy for that team.
Agreed.
In terms of building it and the leadership, from a leadership standpoint, from knowing and doing and executing the offense the way it needs to be executed and keeping them in situations to win games. I think JJ is a kid who, as much as he can make that play, I think right now he can also lose you games.
100%.
And where Michigan's at, they can't afford to break that in right now. So just pump the brakes. I know it's going to be hard keeping him on the back burner, but I think moving forward, it's refreshing for for Michigan, because I don't think they've had a guy like that since Harbaugh's been there. So having a guy like that on the back burner, forcing him to sit there and learn it and understand, the whens and when not tos, behind closed doors at practice and then gaining momentum going into next year, I think that's where you see it, and let him make a run for it. But I think it was good for him to get his feet wet and get some action.
Yeah, that's well said from the quarterback. Before we get off of this game, I'll leave on this one. Ronnie Bell went out with an injury. It came out that he is going to miss the season this year. Not only is that a tough blow on the field for the Wolverines, but just sentimentally from a former player, and I know you feel the same way, Hack.
Yeah.
You hate to see something like that. We lost Mo Ibrahim. We lost Ronnie Bell, two of the best offensive players in the conference, two centerpieces of their offenses.
Yep.
And it's what happens in the game of football, but just for the sake of those guys, man, it's tough, and I hate seeing it.
Yeah, it's hoping for speedy recoveries, because both those guys have bright futures. So